Have you ever had that feeling? The one where you walk into a room and the conversation stops just a little too abruptly. The one where you catch a glance in your periphery. A hushed whisper that you can't quite make out. But you know, deep in your bones, that the energy in the air has shifted because of you. For you, Scorpio. This feeling is no longer a fleeting moment of paranoia. It's becoming the soundtrack to your life. The whispers are growing louder. The glances are lingering longer. And the story of you, the one being told when you're not around, is taking on a life of its own. Everyone is talking about you. And you are about to find out why. This narrative is a journey into one possibility. A reflection cast in a pool of cosmic potential. View it as a thought experiment. A story whispered from the universe to you. If the words resonate with the deep, silent currents of your own life, take what you need from them and hold it close. If they do not, simply let them drift by. For they were meant for another soul on another path. The only truth that matters is the one that awakens within you as you listen. The curiosity begins not as a sudden revelation, but as a slow, creeping dawn. You've been in a period of intense private work. A deep dive into the catacombs of your own soul. You've been excavating old wounds, confronting your shadows, and quietly, meticulously, rebuilding yourself from the inside out. You thought this process was a secret, a sacred and silent alchemy known only to you. You believed you were operating in stealth, hidden from the world's view while you underwent this profound metamorphosis. But you have forgotten a fundamental truth about energy. Scorpio, it radiates. Your transformation has not been silent at all. It has been sending out ripples, shockwaves that are now reaching the shores of everyone you know. And even some you don't. The first sign is innocuous. An old acquaintance reaches out. Someone you haven't spoken to in years. With a message that feels strangely pointed. I heard you're doing amazing things. It might say. Or perhaps, I was just thinking about you and that wild project you were working on. It's vague. But the timing is uncanny. Then comes a comment from a colleague. A little too casual to be truly casual. You've been carrying yourself differently lately. There's a buzz around you. A buzz. That's the word that sticks. It's not positive or negative. It's just a vibration. The world has picked up on your frequency shift. And now, like moths to a flame, they are drawn to the light, or the heat, that you are emitting. You start to question everything. What have they heard? Who is talking? And what exactly are they saying? This is where the chaos begins its insidious creep into your carefully curated world. The narrative that's being woven about you is not a single, coherent tapestry. It is a fractured, distorted mosaic, assembled from shards of truth, slivers of jealousy, and fragments of pure projection. To some, you have become a symbol of impossible success. They are telling stories of your genius, your resilience, your almost mythical ability to rise from the ashes. In their version, you are a master strategist, a visionary who played the long game and is now about to cash in. You hear whispers of a promotion you didn't know you were being considered for, of an opportunity that seems tailored to your deepest ambitions. This narrative is intoxicating. A sweet poison that feeds the ego you've been working so hard to transcend. But for every voice that elevates you, another seeks to tear you down. This is the other side of the chaos, the shadow of the spotlight. This group is telling a different story. They speak of your ruthlessness, your secrecy, your ambition as a destructive force. They are re-examining your past, pulling out old mistakes and reframing them as character-defining sins. That time you had to make a tough decision in business? They call it a betrayal. That relationship that ended painfully? They paint you as the villain. They are taking your silence, your need for privacy during your transformation, and labeling it as arrogance and deceit. They are filling in the blanks of your story with their own fears and insecurities, creating a monster to justify their own stagnation. The chaos intensifies as these two conflicting narratives begin to clash in your real life. One day, a mentor offers you a key to a door you've always wanted to open, citing the incredible word of mouth about your capabilities. The very next day, a once trusted friend confronts you, armed with a distorted version of your past, accusing you of becoming someone they no longer recognize. You are caught in a dizzying crossfire of praise and condemnation, love and judgment. Your reality starts to feel unstable, as if the ground beneath your feet is shifting with every new opinion, every fresh piece of gossip. You feel exposed, vulnerable, and a deep, primal anger begins to stir within you, the scorpion's instinct to lash out, to sting the source of the threat, to control the narrative by force. This is the first great test, Scorpio. The temptation is to engage in the battle, to correct the lies, to prove the doubters wrong and solidify the praise. But this is a war that cannot be won on an external battlefield. You step back, not in defeat, but for perspective. In a moment of quiet reflection, you close your eyes and tune out the noise. You ask yourself the only question that matters: what is the truth? Not their truth, but yours. You realize with a startling clarity that both narratives, the heroic and the villainous, are equally false because they are incomplete. They are caricatures, two-dimensional sketches of a multidimensional being who is still in the process of becoming. The reflection delivers a profound insight: you are not responsible for the stories other people tell about you. You are only responsible for the story you live. Their words are merely echoes of their own perceptions, not a verdict on your soul. This realization doesn't vanquish the chaos, but it changes your relationship to it. You are no longer its victim. You are its observer. You understand that this external storm is a direct consequence of your internal shift. You have become so potent, so energetically charged, that you are now a living Rorschach test for everyone around you. What they see in you is a reflection of what is inside them. And with that understanding, a strange sense of peace settles over you. Even amidst the swirling winds of rumor and speculation, this newfound peace births a new, more profound curiosity. If this isn't just about gossip, if this is a cosmic reflection, then what is the universe trying to show me? The question shifts from what are they saying, to what is this entire situation revealing about my own path? You begin to see the events not as a series of random attacks and accolades, but as a divinely orchestrated curriculum designed specifically for your soul's evolution. This is no longer a social problem, it is a spiritual initiation. You are being invited to look deeper, to understand the metaphysical mechanics behind the social drama. The chaos that follows this new inquiry is of a different order entirely. It is deeper, more personal, and far more consequential. The universe answers your question by presenting you with a series of karmic mirrors. People from your past begin to reappear, not as distant voices in a rumor mill, but as living, breathing presences in your life. The first to arrive is a figure who represents an old, unhealed wound. It might be an ex-partner, a former business associate, or a family member with whom you have a fraught history. They arrive under the guise of wanting to clear the air, but their presence immediately throws your new equilibrium into disarray. They bring with them the ghost of the person you used to be, and they speak to you as if you are still that person. They challenge you, poke at your old insecurities, and unwittingly tempt you to regress into old patterns of defense, anger, or self-sabotage. They hold up a mirror to the parts of yourself you thought you had healed, revealing the subtle, lingering traces of the old programming. The chaos here is internal. It is the battle between the person you are becoming and the person you once were. Every interaction is a test of your new foundation. Can you hold your center when faced with the very person who helped you lose it in the first place? Can you respond with compassion and firm boundaries, rather than reacting with your old stinger? Simultaneously, another mirror appears, but this one reflects your light. Someone you helped years ago, Perhaps an act of kindness you'd long forgotten suddenly re-enters your life in a position of power. They remember your generosity, your integrity, your belief in them when no one else had it. They now offer you a golden opportunity, a shortcut to a goal you've been working towards for years. They see you not as the caricature others have painted, but as the best version of yourself, the one you've been striving to embody. This, too, creates a form of chaos. The sheer magnitude of the opportunity is overwhelming. It brings with it the fear of failure, the pressure of expectation, and the seductive whisper of imposter syndrome. You are now standing at a cosmic crossroads, pulled in two directions at once. One path leads back into the familiar darkness of old battles and karmic debt. The other leads into a blindingly bright future that you may not feel ready for. The pressure is immense. Your life feels like a high-wire act, with the past nipping at your heels and an uncertain future beckoning you forward. Everything is happening at once. The consequences of your entire life, both the light and the shadow, seem to be arriving on your doorstep simultaneously, demanding to be addressed. It feels as though a decade's worth of life lessons are being condensed into a single, breathless, overwhelming month. The moment of reflection comes when you are at your breaking point. You retreat from the world, seeking sanctuary in the one place you can find true silence, within. You realize the universe is not trying to break you. It is trying to integrate you. It is forcing you to hold both the darkness and the light of your own past in your hands at the same time and to accept them both as yours. The figure from your past isn't here to punish you, they are here to give you a final exam on your healing. The figure with the opportunity isn't here to save you, they are here to show you what you have earned through your own past actions. This is the ultimate confrontation with cause and effect. You see, with piercing clarity, how every choice, every word, every act of malice and every act of grace has created the reality you are now experiencing. It is not about blame or reward. It is about ownership. You own the wounds you inflicted and the healing you inspired. You own the mistakes you made and the wisdom you gained from them. In this sacred moment of self-reflection, you stop seeing your life as a series of disconnected events and begin to see it as a single, intricate, and purposeful story. You are the protagonist who has been both the hero and the villain of your own tale. And now, you get to decide how the next chapter is written. This acceptance is the key. It is the alchemy that turns the lead of chaos into the gold of wisdom. This new level of ownership sparks the final and most powerful phase of curiosity. You are no longer asking what is happening to you, but rather, what is wanting to be born through you. Having faced the external projections and the internal karmic debts, you sense that you are on the precipice of a great creative act. It's a feeling that you are here to build something, to create a legacy that is a true expression of your integrated self. The question now is one of purpose. What is the ultimate consequence of this entire ordeal? What is the final destination of this transformative journey? The chaos that ensues is the most terrifying and exhilarating yet. It is the chaos of the void, the terror of the blank page. The external noise has faded. The karmic debts have been settled. You have proven to yourself that you cannot be swayed by praise or broken by condemnation. And what is left is a vast, silent, and powerful emptiness. The universe has cleared the stage for you, removing all the props, all the supporting characters, and all the old scripts. You are standing alone in the spotlight, and there is no one left to tell you what to do. The chaos is the deafening silence of absolute freedom. This freedom is paralyzing at first. All your life, you have had something to push against, something to fight for, something to prove. Now, there are no more enemies. There are no more critics whose opinions hold any weight. There is no one to impress and no one to defy. For a Scorpio, who thrives on intensity and is defined by a powerful will, this state of pure potential can feel like a sensory deprivation tank. The old self, the warrior self, scrambles to find a new battle, a new dragon to slay. but there are none. This is the ultimate test. Can you create from a place of peace, rather than a place of conflict? Can you build from love, rather than from a need for power or control? A choice is presented to you. It may be a literal choice, 2 job offers. One that promises status and power in the traditional sense, and another that offers creative freedom but less prestige. Or it might be an internal choice, to continue down a path that is familiar and externally validating. Or to leap into the unknown and start something entirely new. Something that is born purely from your own soul's calling. This is the moment where you face the consequences of your own freedom. The path of the old Scorpio, the one driven by the ego, is tempting. It offers security and a clear definition of success. But the path of the reborn Scorpio, the eagle, is a flight into the vast, open sky, with no map and no guarantee of where you will land. This final reflection is not a thunderclap of insight but a quiet, cellular knowing. You stand before your choice. The 2 paths diverging in front of you. You look down the road of power and prestige. And you see the ghosts of the people you just faced. You see the endless cycle of praise and blame. The constant battle for control. The golden cage of public perception. It is a life spent reacting to the stories of others. Then, you look down the path of the unknown. The path of authentic creation. It is terrifying. It is uncertain. But it is yours. It is a life lived from the inside out. A story written in your own hand, and in that moment, you understand. The ultimate consequence everyone was talking about wasn't about fame or failure, reward or punishment. It was about arriving at this single, sovereign moment of choice. The consequence of all your transformation, all your pain, and all your work was the absolute, unshakable freedom to choose the life you truly desire. Unburdened by the expectations of the world or the ghosts of your past. You realize that true power is not the ability to control the narrative others tell about you. It is the ability to make that narrative irrelevant. You make your choice. You choose the path of the eagle. You turn away from the empty throne of external validation and begin to build your own kingdom. One founded on integrity, purpose, and the quiet, unshakable truth of who you have become. And as you take your first steps down this new road, you notice something remarkable. The whispers have stopped. Not because you silenced them, but because you are no longer listening. You are too busy living. You are too busy creating. You are too busy becoming the answer to the very question you started with. The world was talking about you, Scorpio, because the universe knew you were about to give them something truly worth talking about, a life lived in complete and total alignment with your own magnificent soul. You have faced the consequences. And they are glorious. They are you.